Hang on, Khushi is looking for the script. Wait. Oh, it's already started. Khushi, did you find the script?
Yeah, I got it on my phone. I didn't know how to put it up there. It took too long. So it's all right. I'll read it from here. No problem.
And we're live.
Well, hello, greetings and welcome to the second anniversary of the South Asia Peace Action Network, which we also call Sapan. I'm Khushi Kabir from Dhaka, and I'm your host for today's program. I head the South Asian Feminist Collective Sangha, which was started by our dear friend Kamla Bhasin. I'm also been involved with the South Asian for Human Rights and the South Asia Foundation that was started by the Madanjit Singh Foundation. I'm also a founder member of Sapan. So welcome everybody, and good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is. As I said before, I'm a part of Sapan, very much a part of Sapan, and my strong and passionate belief is in a regional entity based on common and mutual respect, trust, and support of all nations in this region, irrespective of its size, political voice, or any other thing. So we look at us as one, South Asia, irrespective of each country's own politics, its stance on issues. And I think that's the only way that we in South Asia, as home to a quarter of the world's population, can survive if we, the people of South Asia, learn to respect and love each other and work together. So today is the day that Bangladesh declared its independence. And in 1971, March 26, 1971, and starting the People's War against Pakistan, which we then won and liberated ourselves in December 16th. March is also the month where we celebrate the International Women's Day, and so it's also the Women's Month. We have a very exciting lineup today. We will do a number of things, review what we have done over the past 2 years, and I think all of us will feel very excited seeing what we've done. We will present an award to the well-known journalist Lise Doucette of the BBC. We will announce the winners of a music competition, and the music competition is to give our main music for Sapan. We will present a resolution about South Asian cooperation for the House and our partners over here and all of you here to endorse. Launch a new website for Sapan News, that's very exciting. I'd like to, after this, just mention a few house rules. I would like all of you to make sure your mics are on mute unless you're talking and the spotlight is on you. We ask participants to introduce yourselves in the chat. We would like you to interact in the chat box and do introduce yourselves then. We would also invite suggestions and feedback. So now to get to the program, with us to present the Sapan Founding Charter today is Suraj Budatsoki, founder member of Peace Initiative Bhutan and a doctoral student in transformative social change at Saybrook University, California. Suraj is a former Bhutanese refugee, currently living in New Hampshire and founder of Peace Initiative Bhutan. So over to you, Suraj.
Thank you, Khushi, and greetings to all Sapan members and viewers. I would like to share why I and Peace Initiative Bhutan joined Sapan. It is because we are also a peace building organization like Sapan. So I'm very happy to be here and present the founding charter of Sapan. As you may know, that Sapan is a coalition of individuals and representatives of various organizations around the world joining hands. One second. Joining hands together for a common minimum agenda, that is reclaiming South Asia. We support the objectives of SARC, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, which aims, among many, one, to promote the welfare of the peoples of South Asia and to improve their quality of life. To provide all individuals the opportunity to live in dignity and to realize their full potential. To contribute to mutual trust, understanding, and appreciation of one another's problems. And to promote active collaboration and mutual assistance in the economic, social, cultural, technical, and scientific fields. The South Asia Peace Action Network, therefore, calls on the governments and the peoples of South Asian nations to work towards, first, instituting soft borders and visa-free South Asia, or visa on arrival to allow freedom of trade and travel to each other's citizens. Number two, ensure human rights and dignity for all. Their citizens, including religious and ethnic minorities, women, children, and other oppressed communities. Third, cooperate in all areas, including public health, culture and legal reforms, demilitarization, water issues, climate change, and denuclearization. Our founding charter has been translated in many South Asian languages, including English, Bangla, Hindi, Sindhi, Telugu, Urdu, Malayalam, and Kannada. So Marathi, Nepali, and Gujarati translations are in progress. We will be uploading that in our website as soon as possible. I urge all members, participants, and social media viewers to go to SouthAsiaPeace.com, endorse us, be our members, like us in Twitter, Facebook, and most importantly, donate generously. With that, I would like to pass it on to Kusi. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Suraj. And I would like to now have what we usually start our programs with, the Sapan in Memoriam section, which is honoring those whose legacy we carry with us and take forward, as well as commemorating some who left us over the past month, since our last event on celebrating love beyond borders and boundaries. And with us to present this section are Dr. Anup Subedi in Kathmandu and Irfan Mufti in Lahore. And I would like to now ask both of them to take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Khushi. Greetings, everyone. We are honored to present the In Memoriam section commemorating the South Asian giants, whose legacy of peace building we take forward. Here we also remember some who have passed on since our last meeting, as Khushi mentioned. These are meant to be symbolic rather than comprehensive remembrances. And thanks to Bishal Sharma in Simla for preparing this presentation for us. We start by paying homage to some of the intellectuals and reformers who Sapan members feel proud to call our torch bearers. They include Dr. Mubashir Hassan, Kuldeep Nair, Kamala Bhasin, Asma Jahangir, I.A. Rahman, Nirmala Deshpande, Sufia Kamal, Sania Hussain, Rubina Sehgal, Sabine Mahmood, Dr. Saman Kalegama, Dr. Iqbal Ahmad, Praful Bidwai, Rajni Kothari, Madanjit Singh.
Thank you. Neela Ram Gopal, a vocalist and music teacher from Tamil Nadu, India.
Aziz Mushabbar Ahmadi, Chief Justice of India and Chancellor of the Aligarh Muslim University.
Mr. Kavi Khan, an acclaimed TV and film actor from Pakistan.
Heen Banda Dissanayake, Governor of the Central Bank of Ceylon and later alternate Executive Director of the IMF.
Mr. Masum Babul, a dance director and choreographer from Dhaka.
Mr. Satish Kaushik, prominent Bollywood actor and director.
Mr. Shahid Kamal, an academician and a Vice Chancellor of Government College University, Faisalabad, Pakistan.
Mr. Pradeep Uppur, acclaimed Indian film producer.
Mr. Ved Pratap Vedic, a journalist, political analyst, and freelance journalist from India.
Mr. P.V. Satish, also known as the Millet Man from India, with an enormous legacy of work in food sovereignty, social justice, and local knowledge system.
Mr. Pradeep Sarkar, a Bollywood writer and director from Kolkata. Thank you very much. Over to you, Khushi.
Unmute. Thank you. That was important. Thank you both, Dr. Subedi and Irfan Mufti. And thanks to Vishal Sharma for preparing the presentation and Fauzia Diba for all the coordinating. I would like to now invite Sapan founder curator, Veena Sarwar, to give us an overview and take us through what Sapan has done for over the last 2 years. So Veena, over to you.
Thank you so much, Khushi. It's wonderful to be here. Wonderful to see so many old and new friends that are on this journey with us. I'm going to go very briefly through the journey we've been through together for the past couple of years, and I can't believe it's been 2 years, and I'm really thrilled and happy to welcome all of you. So I'm going to see if I can do. Wait, I need to share my screen just to get the thing. And yeah, so the Sapan story, I'm going to just go a little bit over the Sapan story, which in a way goes back to my father, to lessons I learned from my father, from a movement he led in the 1950s, long before I was born, and continues years after he passed away in 2009. From my conversations with him and from the research I did after he passed, I learned some lessons from the Democratic Students Federation, which I bring to this movement called Sapan. I just want to say that after my father passed on, we commemorated the movement in the next year. And we were organizing the event, which had for about 1,000 people at the Karachi Arts Council. And I asked his mentor, Uncle Eric Rahim, the economist in Glasgow now. And Uncle Eric said, and I said, why do we need to do this? Why are we doing this, looking back and all that? And Uncle Eric said, we look back to look forward. So in a way, I've carried that mantra with me. And some of the lessons I have from that movement are the importance of uniting for a minimum common agenda, to collaborate across the ideological divides for a larger goal, to be proactive rather than reactive, forging our own narrative, to be inclusive and keep party politics out of the movement, to take a holistic approach to realize that everything is connected. You know, in Sapan, we've done art, sports, culture, politics, economics, health, everything is connected, and we are all connected. And the importance of documentation and organization. So one of the images that I came across when I was looking for this idea I had about Sapan was that it's this orb, transparent orb with nodes all around it and inside it, and then they're all connected. So I found this image on the net. It doesn't quite convey what I wanted because the lines are very angular, and my idea of Sapan is much more fluid. It's fluid, and it's, as Kanak Dixit, one of my mentors and the founding editor of Himal Southasia says, you know, we want a penumbra, you know, of like the soft shadows of the moon rather than harsh binaries. So Sapan, this is the symbol that I came up with, but the logo, of course, as you see, is a beautiful one that designed by Hamid in Vancouver. And we've been doing various monthly events, and I will take us to the website, the Sapan website, where which if you go to that, southasiapeace.com, and to the events. So our very first event was cross-border empathy and cooperation in the time of COVID, which actually was supposed to be about it was, as you can see, Rajdeep Sardesai is there, and we have Sharda and other sports personalities, Afia. And it was supposed to be called Khelne Do, meet sports for peace. But because of the COVID situation at that time, as you all remember, it was just really very traumatic. And everybody was, we were so traumatized. So we converted that event into, sharing empathy and solidarity across the border. I'll share some more of the events that we did. And anybody can go to the website South Asia Peace and see. So we then the next one also was, the next one was also about COVID, South Asian solidarity in the time of COVID, sharing grief, inspiration, tragedies. And, one of the things you can see maybe Karamat's thumbnail in the first one, and he was grieving Karamat Ali in Karachi because his wife in Delhi had COVID, and her sister, and he couldn't go over because of COVID. We had, we talked about the importance of public health. We had this wonderful event with women and sport challenges and wins that you can see some very well-known names were there. Khalda Popal from Afghanistan, and a wrestler from Bangladesh, and a tennis player from Nepal, and a swimmer from Sri Lanka, and cricket players from India and Pakistan, squash, and all of that. So, and this was such an inspiring event, challenges and wins, and that kind of gave us a framework also for moving forward, that we don't just look at what our challenges are, but also what our wins are, how challenges bring us to wins. And then we have, and Najam Sethi, who was the closing speaker for that, suggested we do a book on that, on what the stories we got from that, which we still haven't done because we don't have the resources, quite frankly. We've done the rights of the incarcerated across South Asia, the prison conditions for which some of the people involved did some amazing research. We did the 2611, the impact on South Asia and South Asians, and Noam Chomsky dropped in, and we highlighted him in a separate little video that's there. We done work on climate change and gender violence, and the gender violence in South Asia for women, the Violence Against Women Month, Feminized to Humanize, a lovely title given by Lalita Ramdas, who we fondly called Lolly, one of the founding members of our group, along with her husband, the wonderful Admiral Ramdas. In December, we had the young people call on, for Human Rights Month, we had the young people call on the seniors to grow up, and we called about growing up and growing together. We talked about art and the artists in South Asia, and Salima Hashmi did a wonderful presentation, I remember, from that. And we had something on mystics and music, South Asia's legacy of love, and that's what we want to foreground at Sapan is love rather than hate. And we are not countering hate; we are being proactive with love. So, and then we had our yearly event last year. We had this wonderful event on labor rights and democracy, connecting workers across South Asia, labor rights unions, and particularly, I think the very important issue for all across South Asia is the plight of sanitation workers. We had an event on road safety, South Asians for road safety, and I think Mridul Bhasin, if you're here in the group, if you could say a few words about that, because this event brought us together with Mridul Bhasin, who runs Muskan for road safety in Jaipur. If someone could spotlight Mridul, who I think is there, I saw her earlier. And if she's not, we can go back to the thing. Mridul, are you there? So the road safety. if you can speak.
Let me unmute. Okay, I have unmuted myself. Hi,
Oh, perfect.
hello
Right.
everybody. Can you hear me, Bina?
Yes. So yes, I just wanted you to say a few words, because as Sapan has grown, we are collaborating with other organizations,
Yeah.
and one of the groups we are collaborating with is Mridul Bhasin's Muskan. And I wanted just her to say a few words about what this partnership means to her. Mridul?
This has been so wonderful, all friends and everybody here. And then we are talking to a group which is so conscious about peace and life and human rights and all. And when we got introduced to Sapan, it was really, really a lucky day for us because a new chapter opened up in my life as such. And collaborating with all the South Asian friends who are leaders in their own zones. When we started it, actually Kavita Srivastav and Bina are the people who basically initiated the whole thing, and I got active in this. I wish I had been more active in the group. So, but now we did a few things like we celebrated Streets for Life, which is a call for, making the streets safer and more livable for people in South Asia. Then we wrote a letter to UN envoy, Mr. Todd, who's a special envoy for road safety. And all of us signed in it. And this letter went from the road safety group of Sapan, and which is a great initiative. And then we had coaxed all the members to write a letter to their own respective transport ministers, talking about Sapan Group's initiative about road safety. Then there was this Twitter space where Safi was very active and he talked about road safety. Then there was a little road safety song and all. And we celebrate, not celebrated, but observed World Day of Remembrance, which is a day day selected by United Nations to remember those who lost their lives on the roads. So
sorry, Mridul, I just want to
Yeah.
interrupt you here for a minute, because I just want to
Yeah.
I want to just acknowledge that as we worked on this road safety issue, please keep Mridul in the spotlight if she's still there. As we acknowledge the road safety issue, we realized how many people in our group had actually lost close family, friends, and members. And Mridul herself, I want to acknowledge, came into this cause because her own 17-year-old daughter at the time was knocked down and killed by a bus. So Mridul, we express our solidarity with you and with all those who've lost loved ones. I know Irfan's lost a brother, Fauzia has lost a brother, Samir lost a close friend. And I think we also, an activist in Sri Lanka had been knocked down. There's so many people. So thank you so much, Mridul. Was there anything else you wanted? I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to acknowledge that.
No, thank you so much. This is so important.
Yeah, through the pain through your pain, you built something that will help other people, and that is what we try to do. This event also brought us together with people like the Helmet Man of India, Raghwinder Kumar. I don't know if he's here right now, but and with Vivek Samuel in I think in Bangalore or Chennai, who, because of the road safety work that we were doing, he was called upon by the Delhi Transport Corporation to present his engineering solutions to prevent road crashes. So thank you so much, Mridul. I'll go back to.
I'll just would like to acknowledge that there were a few initiatives we wanted the group to start. One of them was having a road safety policy all over South Asian, countries, and take an initiative. Maybe we can talk about it later in the group. And I really whip myself for not being so
No, you're doing so much. Please. See, the thing about See, the thing about Sapan is because everybody has their own particular causes that they are deep diving into. And what we do is to bring everyone together, like I said earlier, like a penumbra, not pulling people together. So please do not ever feel guilty about not giving more time to Sapan. You're doing so much, and we will, hopefully the group that you and Dr. Fauzia Diba are coordinating will keep carrying on this work in what we call a sort of a drip irrigation, rather than carry on watering the plants and in the background. So I'm going to go back to the events. So we also partnered with the Boston South Asia Center here for the Kabir Festival. we did this really inspiring event called Right for Peace, and I think Mohsin and Lee are here, who I'll call on to say a few words about that. And this was such an amazing thing. Mohsin Tijani in Karachi and Lee Krishnan in Bombay, Mumbai. So if you're there, Mohsin and Lee, I think you've already been highlighted. I don't know if Lee is there.
Lee's around. Yeah, she's
Perfect. Lovely,
here.
lovely.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
lovely. Lee, you can. So if you can each take a minute to just share what your experience with working with Sapan and the work that you did.
Well, the experience of working with Sapan was amazing, and the idea behind this was to involve the families. You know, the Sapan members, they are all involved in Sapan work, in their own work at their respective individual levels. But we offered this family literacy night entitled Right for Peace, in which we had families also join in. And we gave out very simple prompts to all the participants, and they wrote about, so like the first prompt was what peace looks like. And the second one was, I dream of a world. And the third prompt was, at my table. So these three prompts were given and everybody wrote on these prompts. And then we had like a public reading. Everybody shared their work. Lee, you want to add anything?
Always, Mohsin, to whatever you say. Mohsin and I
like this India-Pakistan cooperation. This is very nice. Our governments can learn from it.
I wish. So Mohsin and I have been friends for more than 25 years. We met in 1997 and we're still best friends. So it was amazing to do this workshop together for Sapan. And it's a unique concept of getting families to write together. And this, so when Mohsin broached the idea, I was more than happy to do it. And we had writing in, I think, 7 different languages. We had the rules for the end of a bread loaf
right.
In, I think, 7 different languages, read out in different languages. And what was amazing was that people wanted to share not just one prompt where we normally get people willing to read the writing for one prompt, but everybody wanted to read everything that they wrote. The chat was filled with stuff. And my memory that I will always take away is with Lalita joining in the singing of Imagine, which everybody did, and singing with so much passion. And I thought, yes, this is what peace looks like.
Yes, this is what peace looks like. And I want to acknowledge Payal in Boston, who took the writings and who has made it into into a virtual magazine kind of a thing. And other people also joined in afterwards. Sara Arshad in Lahore, who wasn't at the workshop, but who's a poet, also got very excited and got many people more to contribute who hadn't participated in the workshop. So hopefully that virtual magazine will be out sometime soon. So thank you so much, Lee and Krishnan, Lee and Mohsin, sorry. And I just want to say, speaking of families, because Mohsin is family to me because he is my mother's mentee, Zakia Sarwar of Spelt, and I think we get Lee and Mohsin through that network. And I'll go back to sharing my screen because I don't want to I want to finish within the time that I've been allocated. So thank you again, Mohsin and Lee and Payal and everybody else who was involved in that initiative. We did the Right for Peace, and then we had sorry, my finger just touched the thing. We also had a different, so a lot of these events were part of our Imagine Neighbors in Peace. I mean, Imagine Neighbors in Peace, which is the concept for most of the events up till now, up till this thing. And then I guess it's an underlying theme also. We did a country focus, and we are planning to do more country focus events, discussions. So we did a country focus on rebuilding Sri Lanka, reforms or revolution, because at that time, that's what the country was going through that. And Nalaka Gunawardene, who's a seasoned journalist, climate change, environmentalist, originally a science writer, who I've known for many years through Himal South Asian and Panos South Asia. So I would like to ask Nalaka, wonderful to see you here, to say a few words about that event, which I will just pull up very quickly on the screen just to show you who all was there. And it was all, and Nalaka insisted, and very rightly so, that we have young people there And the closing remarks were given by Nirupama Subramanian, and Namrata Sharma in Nepal, I think, hosted that event. So it was really, we kept India and Pakistan out of it. So Nalaka, over to you for a few words.
Thank you, Beena. And it was an opportunity. Sapan gave us an opportunity to reflect on current and recent events in Sri Lanka. So last year, 2022, was a very turbulent time for Sri Lanka. It started with an economic crisis. Very quickly, it evolved into a socio-political crisis. This time last year was when this crisis was gathering pace. April to July was the peak of it. And we all know the news coverage of it, much of which, in my view, was superficial and fleeting. But there were sane, rational voices in Sri Lanka that were urging for reflection and for solutions. And this is what we wanted to showcase. So in early October last year, we had this wonderful panel discussion. And as Beena said, consciously we avoided bringing in the ones who had been very widely covered in the international media for sound bites. Instead, we accommodated very thoughtful, very well-informed mid-career professionals. So we had an economist, a political economist, and a journalist. Journalist is Marlon from Himal Southasian, who I think has joined today's meeting as well. And what we did
Marlon
was
also, Nalaka, and sorry to interrupt, but just to add that also gave us the gift of Marlon, who of course I know was from Himal, but I hadn't ever interacted with him before, and we're really happy that he's on the contributing editorial board of Sapan News that we launched and that we'll talk about later. So that really connected us with so many wonderful people as well, and gave us such an insight that you curated that event so thoughtfully, and it really gave a really good insight to everyone in the region about that.
Indeed. If I may just wrap up in
Yes.
1 minute, Beena. So what we tried to do was to go beyond the shrill and the rhetoric, because both on the political left and the right, there was so much polarizing as the political crisis unfolded. Each pointing fingers at the other. So the debate was deadlocked between the right and left leaning political commentators. And also the discussion was, should we go for meaningful, deep, sustained reforms, or should we break down everything, demolish everything, the so-called revolutionary option? Many of us don't share that sentiment of breaking down everything, and instead we acknowledge and agree that there should be serious, lasting reforms. So it was more in that frame that we discussed, and we agreed on the political, the economic, and other reforms that are needed that simply have to be sustained, even though some feel it will be politically unpopular. And then, of course, at the end, Nirupama Subramanian, who's been watching and covering Sri Lanka for many, many years, gave us a wonderful summary, which brought our conversation into the larger context of the ethnic challenge and the ethnic reconciliation that we still need to work on. So all in all, I thought that was a very, very meaningful and reflective conversation.
Indeed it was, and we hope to have more such country-focused conversations, kind of do deep dive, nuanced discussions on different countries of the region with talking about polarizing things in a non-polarizing way. That dialogue is so important. So thank you again, Nalaka, and all those who participated in that event as well, and that discussion. So going forward, so beyond, so then we also had, beyond that, we had the Sapan Film Club, thanks to Ekta Kapoor, who has initiated this film club, where we showed Bani Singh's award-winning documentary Tang, which was really an amazing, like so thoughtful and thought-provoking about a former Olympian hockey player and his ties to his hometown where he grew up in Lahore, and people who joined this film club. So we made Ekta organized for the film to be made available to our viewers for 24 hours, our members for 24 hours. And then we had a discussion about it that was separate from our monthly discussions. And, many people joined, including Sara Arshad in Lahore, who I mentioned earlier, who's a writer and a poet. And she got so moved by this that she has become a very core member of Sapan. And as I said before, you never know what can happen when you join a Sapan discussion. How you can get pulled in. We had more, Mridul and I already mentioned about the Streets for Life. We did a second edition of that. We did a really thoughtful one on discussion on Beyond Partitions, Shared Histories. It, again, a very nuanced, different way of looking beyond the binaries. It's not just one partition, it's multiple partitions with some really thoughtful young women who all, interestingly, whose names begin with A: Ananya, Jahanara Kabir, Anam Zakaria, and Anchal Malhotra. And this discussion was thoughtfully moderated by Priyanka Singh. And this was a really lovely discussion as well. I mean, I think that I can't think of which was my favorite discussion in Sapan, because I found them all so incredibly thought-provoking and, taking things forward. And then we've had, the interfaith collaboration, how it can contribute to climate justice. And that was thanks to Urmi Chanda, who curated that, Priyanka curated the partitions one. Different people have curated different specific discussions, while I've been the overall curator. Urmi Chanda in Mumbai brought a new angle to climate justice by saying that, since faith is such a powerful part of, important part of life in South Asia, why don't we get people who belong to different faiths to talk about how they can contribute to climate justice? And our last event was on celebrating love beyond borders and boundaries. And this was really a wonderful event as well. Just to go back to, can you see am I back to the slides now? Yeah. So some of you might be wondering why we use South Asia as one word, and that goes back to my roots with Himal South Asian, the language that Kanak had, I think, put in the editorial, seeking to restore, why South Asia as one word, seeking to restore some of the historical unity of our common living space without wishing any violence on the existing nation states. And this is the quote, right side up map of South Asia. And Ekta was asking, what does right side up mean? And I said, well, we can talk about that later with Kanak. Then we have also the events that I showed earlier. Most of them have been covered. We started sending out press releases and then reports to a multitude of media outlets around. It started with 3 or 4 media outlets, and now there's, I don't know, I haven't counted, but there's multiple media outlets around the region and in the diaspora who have been covering Sapan events. And these also then became our partners, kind of, where we started sending them our write-ups as proper reports, not just as press releases. So that is what led to Sapan News syndicated features, which we will talk about later and that Ekta will present. Besides these media organizations, we also have, we have also the network, the 40 plus organizations that have endorsed the charter that Suraj mentioned earlier. So I'm not going to name them all, but this is just some of them, and they also are part of the Milne Do, or the Let Us Meet visa petition that Shailaja Rao will present a little bit later. In this network actually are some amazing people, and I'm just going to call, it's not possible to call on all of them, but I will call on a couple of people that we worked particularly closely with, and one of them is Padma, Dr. Padma in Boston. And she's with the Boston South Asia Coalition. So Padma, if you're there, if you can unmute yourself so that we can highlight you, and if you can say a few words. There you are, I see you, PB, hiding behind your PB.
Yes. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. It's indeed a pleasure and a privilege to be part of Sapan for more than a year now. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about Boston South Asian Coalition, but I've been a volunteer there for about 6 years now, and we work locally with organizations around racism, around police brutality, and also with Ambedkarite organizations in the area. And we work in solidarity with grassroots organizations in South Asia. It's largely been India for the last few years around various issues like the CAA, the discriminatory law, the farmers' struggles, the attacks against minorities, etc. But our aspirations are to be really South Asian, like Sapan. It's indeed, as I said, a privilege to work with Bina and all of you. I just want to mention a couple of events that we did together with Sapan, which really were appreciated by a lot of folks in the Boston area, and also on our social media. We got a lot of appreciation. I'll start with the most recent one, which was in December of 2022, which both Boston South Asian Coalition and Sapan organized on December 10th, the Human Rights Day, which was on journalists under attack. And we had our own Sapan activists and journalists who spoke. Anuradha Bhasin, from Kashmir.
Who's also part of the South Asia Network, yeah.
Yes, and Namrata Sharma spoke. And we also had Sheikh Sabiha Alam, who's not part of Sapan, but a very well-known journalist from Bangladesh. And we had two other excellent journalists from the US who joined us, Kathy Keeley and Stephen Butler. And it was really extremely well received. And prior to that, we did on political prisoners. This is one of the areas where Boston South Asian Coalition and Sapan, we have intersecting interests. Kavita Srivastava, who does not need any introduction from Sapan, was the main speaker along with Dr. Anand Teltumde, daughter, and we organized it with Jericho in Boston, which works for the rights of political prisoners in the United States. So that again was an amazing event. And we, prior to that, we, thanks to Bina, we were introduced to Suraj Baratoki. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. And we had a very nice event where the noted journalist Kanak Mani Dikshit, who's also part of Sapan, and Devendra Bhattarai, and the courageous lawyer from India, Aman Wadud, from Assam, who has been fighting the discriminatory CAA and NRC, speak. Again, that was in close collaboration with, folks from Sapan.
And actually, that reminds me, Padma, that we should, and Ekta and everyone, we should actually, when we do these kind of collaborations, we should put those. I had only put that Kabir one up. I had forgot. We just sort of haven't been that organized. We should have added those to our events as well. So going forward, we will definitely do that. I just realized when I was going through these events that we hadn't listed them on our event on our website, but we've been evolving and growing. So it's a work in progress. So we're not very organized, and we're getting better, I think, hopefully. So
thank you very much for this opportunity.
I appreciate it. And I want to say that I really value the work that I've done with colleagues at Boston South Asia Coalition. Thanks to you guys, I got to speak at the Harvard convocation last year that you were invited to speak at, and you nominated me because you were traveling. So that was really something. And thank you again. I think also, sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off. Was there anything else?
No, this is all I wanted to say. I just also want to say, at a personal level, being part of Sapan has really enhanced my understanding of history and what is happening now, because now is really important as well. Unless you have knowledge, you can't really do any kind of work. So they're very interlinked. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So another person that I wanted to call on, who's been mentioned already here, is our senior journalist friend from Nepal. No, Kanak, not you, because you've been missing in action. So we're going to ask Namrata Sharma to talk about, but not about Himal, but about what we call SOM Sisters, the South Asia Women in Media Network that Namrata and I are both part of. And there are several other people here who are part of that network. Mandira is part of that network, Lubna Jarar, and some others also who I don't see here. But that's how I got to know Namrata, was through SOM, the South Asia Women in Media. So Namrata, if you would like to say a few words about that collaboration, that would be wonderful. Oh yeah, Zara Nader is also here. She's also part of that. I'm going to ask her to speak in a minute from Afghanistan. Namrata.
Thank you, Bina. First of all, a very warm hug and greetings to the whole Sapan family and everybody who's joined us here today from Nepal. It's been a wonderful experience being part of both South Asian Women in Media Sisters Group and also Sapan. Actually, I got introduced to Sapan through SWAM. SWAM is a network of journalists, women in media from South Asia. And it's been about 15 years old now. And actually through that network, it's a network who focuses on press freedom and enhancement of the work of women in media in South Asia. And actually it now holds a whole group of excellent journalists from this region who network with each other in their work, life, fun, everything. But actually it has enhanced among the journalists who are in the network, the knowledge of everything in South Asia, including politics, climate, people, rights, and the need to network together. And through that network, actually, Bina and I discovered each other, although I definitely knew about Bina's work and everything. And it's so interesting. I didn't know about Sapan, but I have been part of, Kana Kunda, everybody, friends who have actually been part of starting the motivating.
But because Sapan hadn't really started, because Sapan only is 2 years old.
Exactly, and that surprises me, Bina. When I realized that we were actually celebrating 2 years of Sapan, when we started working, I thought you were at least more than a decade old, actually.
Oh, now I'm more than many decades old, but
many decades old. Yeah,
so like
you now I say me also. And actually, what I have learned from both the networks is that these networks are excellent. I haven't been that old in SWAM either, but in Sapan definitely almost the time when my father passed away, and actually it's just over a year. And so I have been with you more than with Sapan more than a year, and I feel part of it.
So,
and a couple of things to mention over here
sorry, just to not to interrupt, but just to say that we connected because you wrote that very moving piece about your father after he passed, and I reached out to you personally, and that's how we then started talking and became friends. And I just want to add one more thing about SOM, that it was actually the brainchild of Asma Jahangir, and I remember when she asked her daughter Munize to start it. Muniza Jahangir, who's a well-known journalist and is also part of the Sapan network, but very busy in her own journalistic ventures, so she's not that in front and center as much. So I remember the very first meeting of SOM in Lahore many years ago, and that's grown into this. Basically, it's a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, and one of the most important thing that SOM has done recently is documentation of women journalists' work. It's called Stories Without Boundaries. And the other thing, the network between Sapan and SWAM can be is now that our news, we have started that, SWAM has an excellent portal where we carry stories by women journalists, you see. So any work in South Asia that is important, that's another forum to be shared with. Absolutely. And the other thing I really want to say before I end, Bina, is being part of Sapan has been so enriching for me. And actually, I feel so humble that I've been part of reading the In Memoriam, the Charter, and being part of these wonderful activities that we do, And I think it's lovely being part of this.
It's a wonderful network.
Yes.
Thank you, Namrata. Thank you so much. I'll call upon Zara Nadir now, who is also part of the SOM network, and I see her here. And we have never actually met. Yeah, there we go. You're there. Wonderful. So hello, Zara. Wonderful to actually see you. Wonderful to actually see you finally. And we've been talking on email, and I've shared with you the work that Sapan has done. So I wanted you to share some of your thoughts about it.
Thank you
we're very
so much.
happy to partner with Zan Times.
Thank you. First of all, I'm feeling very much honored to be in this network, in this group. And I want to thank you, Narmata, for making this possible. We talked, and then I was connected with South Asian Women in Media, which eventually led to us being here. My name is Zahra.
Sorry, I forgot to, sorry, Zara, I forgot to introduce you properly, that you're a journalist from Afghanistan, and you're currently at York University in Canada. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to, go ahead.
No worries at all. So we journalists are always good to speaking. Yeah, so that's our art. So I am a journalist from Afghanistan, and I'm running with a group of mostly women journalists, a media called Zan Times, and Zan means woman. And absolutely, this is our way of responding to what is happening in Afghanistan, and particularly to the situation of women. And when I was introduced to Sapan network, it was very exciting for me to just really feel that there are areas that we can work in the region, because what's happening in Afghanistan will not remain in Afghanistan, and the countries that is going to be first affected is the countries in the region. For us to be able to have a place a platform that we can come together and talk about these issues and finding solution is, I think, very, very much needed. And I really see the work that Sapan is doing as being able to create conversation about that, and also trying to respond to the crisis that's happening in the region. Particularly, I noticed that Sapan did a statement on the situation of Afghanistan, responding that what is happening in Afghanistan should not be normalized, and we should not accept normalization of the situation of women, and also the attacks on some communities, including my own community of Hazara and ethnic in Afghanistan, which have been under attack, and now particularly under the Taliban, and their situation is they are at risk. So for us to have that platform, to be able to speak to each other and also think through ways that we can respond to the situation is, I think, very, very much important. And I see Sapan as that progressive network that we think through many dangers. So one of them is particularly the Taliban in Afghanistan, and the danger of religious extremists that are not only in Afghanistan, but in many other countries in South Asia. And I really see and feel privileged that for us as a media, being able to involved in this network, and also to be able to share our perspective of what's happening in Afghanistan, and particularly to women, because Afghanistan is right now the only country on the planet that denies women the basic rights to education, to work. And today, women in Afghanistan had a protest trying to just say that what's happening in Afghanistan, they need help. And I feel Sapan is a powerful network to come together in terms of solidarity, of really defining what it means to have a solidarity, to discuss the situation of women in the region, and what is our way through, how we can pass through the situation. And I see being here as a part of creating that solidarity discussion and finding solution that would be applicable to our situation, that could help us walk through it and really see the situation of women and the crisis in Afghanistan, not only as a situation of Afghanistan, but as a problem for the entire region. That really need our urgent discussion, that really need us to be talking about it and finding solution for it. So I appreciate the possibility of being here and sharing my voice, and also for Zan Times to be part of Sapan is, I think, a privilege for us, an honor, and we are very happy to be included here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Zara. We're really happy and privileged to have you here, along with some of our other Afghan sisters that we have. I just want to go back to the work that we've done at Sapan, which is more going a little bit further beyond beyond what we just talked about. That we've also done these Sapan stories. We've also got a YouTube channel, which was part of South Asia Peace, but now it is under Sapan News. We have 2 interviews up already of Mani Shankar Iyer and Rafiq Katwari, the eminent poet from Kashmir, and Mani Shankar, of course, the parliamentarian from in India, and Lakshmi Pati Balaji, who had this interview with Memal when we were going to do that South Asia, the sports one, which we never actually did because of COVID. So hopefully that Memal will put that full interview of Balaji up at some point. Right now, a small snippet is up on our website, which is Sapan News now. And just a little bit about South Asia piece. This is, we have not, as you can see, not a huge number of followers and subscribers. So all of you who are here, each of you, if you can please help amplify our voice, South Asia piece, on all social media platforms. On Instagram and LinkedIn, it has now become, if you go to South Asia piece, it should take you to sapannews.com. And that actually takes me to the launch of our Sapan News website, which with the new social media handle Sapan News on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, and Twitter, Facebook, and everything. And I am really, really excited about this. And I am so grateful and, I don't know, moved by the passion and dedication with which the volunteers who are doing this have been and doing this. And the website particularly, I want to thank Ekta, who's been staying up all hours of the night putting it together. She also put together the other website, the Sapan News South Asia Peace website. So and I would also like to thank Sapan News founding member Vishal Sharma, who likes to stay behind the scenes, but I am going to find him and spotlight him for a minute. Yes, I did. Thank you. Sorry, Vishal. And there are others also who I know refuse to come on screen, but and I'm not going to force them on right now. But we're really, really excited for the launch of the Sapan News website. So, Ekta, over to you. And I will unspotlight. Yeah.
Yes, so launching Sapan News as a separate standalone website has been the highlight of 2023 for us so far. And I'm going to run you through the new website now. So I hope you can see the screen launched.
Yeah, perfect.
Can you see this? Sorry, we just need to mute somebody in the audience. Okay. So launching Sapan News. This is the new website that so far we had been doing a lot of articles on SouthAsiaPeace.com on the platform. But now we have moved it to a separate platform of its own. It's called sapannews.com. And as you can see, we had more than 70 plus articles, which we've migrated them here. They will also continue to exist on the previous website in case you have the, we don't want to keep that record as well. And this is a news syndication service. So this is a space where we're going to be creating our own exclusive features. So when you come on the top and you go to the section called features, these are exclusive stories by Sapan News, which have been written by volunteers and our contributors from all over the world, from South Asia and the diaspora and others as well. So these are all exclusive features that we send out to different news organizations, and then they carry it on their platforms by giving the credit to Sapan News. So far we've been offering these stories for free. And we've also recently started a dossier section where we curate stories of interest and curate relevant stories from other platforms, and we're going to be putting them on our platform. This website also, of course, links back to the South Asia Peace website. So the link is there. This is the South Asia Peace original website. And if you come to Sapan News Network, you will come here. There's all of us who are working behind the scenes, we've created a team page so you know who we are. And there's, of course, Bina, who's in the US. There's me from Delhi. So we're really from all over the world. We've got Shelja in Seattle in US. She's already written a couple of pieces for us, sharing her experiences, and she's been helping us with the editing as well. There's someone who's joined us recently, and a very bright young woman who is bringing in a lot of talent and passion. We have Marlon in Sri Lanka, of course, very talented, and we're so happy to have him. He has the background from Himal South Asian, and he completely understands the kind of work we're doing. And of course, we have Vishal from India, who has been the backbone, who is the pillar for all the work that we do here. And Priyanka from Cambridge, she's from Delhi, who's right now studying in Cambridge. And she has been, of course, a very vital part of everything that we do. And it's her passion that has really, really pulled Sapan News to this point even. And thanks to Abdul Hamid in Vancouver for designing the logos for both the websites. And so besides the team page, we have a donate page where we have tied up with fundjournalism.org. And, they help us to collect money, and they do not charge extra for that. They have a very small fee for the transaction costs. So if you donate to us through them, we actually save money, because otherwise on other platforms, we would have paid much more. And they also give us an option to transfer the monthly transaction fee of, say, 64 cents or whatever the amount works out to. So if the donor wishes, they can pay that cost as well. So that saves us money as well. So this is the link for donating to Sapan. And we have a contact page where people can sign up, and people who are journalists and who are editors of other media platforms, if they wish to syndicate our stories, they can sign up. And also people who wish to submit story ideas can also submit their stories to us through this platform. And we have an about page if you would like to know about us, would like to know who we are and what we do. This is our mission statement. This is what we do at Sapan News Network. I know a lot of people are laughing about Shah Rukh Khan's picture there, because we were thinking what brings the South Asians together that we can put there. And I think having young people in the group means that the first thing that comes up is Shah Rukh Khan. So
it's not just young people, Ekta.
Yeah, I still count myself as a young person. So yeah, I'm still among the young people. And so this is where we describe our history, how Sapan was born out of an online meeting of 80 people. And now we have 300 members and 40 organizations as part of us. And how we launched Sapan News Network now has been launched as a separate platform. And this is also describing Beena being selected as a Media Transformation Challenge Fellow at the Poynter Institute, where she is.
Sorry to interrupt, Ekta. I just wanted to say it's because of that we got the fund journalism connection. It was through the MTC, through the Media Transformation Challenge. And that was only like literally a week ago, right? And until then, we were paying 4% to WordPress for whatever small, we have like a very tiny amount of donations so far, but it was a lot of it was going to WordPress, but now hopefully that will not happen. So, yeah.
Yes. And we've already been published in 24 publications around the world. These are from India, Pakistan, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and also in the US and other in the UK, Australia. And these are people who we are sending regularly, regular emails. And we have a database of more than 50 journalists now who we are sending our database. And if anybody else signs up, we can, send them stories regularly when we put them up. And this explains why we use South Asia as one word, because in our stories, we use South Asia as one word. And we've created separate social media pages for all our, for Sapan News. So if you click on the link on the top of the website, you can directly access our different social media pages directly from here. So that was Facebook. And there's a page on Twitter. These pages are separate from the Sapan, that's South Asia piece, and this is Sapan News. So this is a separate Twitter handle. So it'll be great if you can go and like it and follow it. On LinkedIn as well, we've created a company page for Sapan News. So you can go here and you can follow this as a page, and you'll keep getting the updates. And
plus it will help us.
Yeah, plus it will help us to get the word out. Now for Instagram, we have combined South Asia piece and Sapan News. So now it's just going to be called Sapan News from this point forward, but it's it's the same people. And the same thing for YouTube. It was called South Asia piece, and now it's called Sapan News, and we'll be using the Sapan News logo from now on for putting up all the stories here. And we have a lot of videos on the platform already. We have more than 100 videos. And if you go to the video section, you'll see that these are not just the live events that we've done, but these are also snippets from the event. So if you want to just reach out, you just want to see that one part of the event where one particular person spoke, then you can also, this is like an archive of all the events and all the speakers that we've had on the platform so far. So that's about the new platform that we have. Please follow it. There is a place here where you can type in your email and you can subscribe. Even if you're not a news syndication or a news platform, as an individual, you can subscribe and you can get all our features delivered to your inbox. And yeah, definitely.
So Ekta,
yeah.
So Ekta, just a quick question. One is that, we're doing all this work for free. We are sending all these features out for free. And are we considering asking people to subscribe to our features, like to pay a monthly contribution or something to receive our features? Are we going to be doing that?
Well, for the people who are following us directly on the website, it's the completely free service. But I think moving forward, we can consider having a subscription service for news organizations so that they can syndicate our stories on their platforms.
Yeah, but we also don't want to go behind a paywall because we want this content to be free and open to the public. So thank you so much, Ekta. Did I interrupt you, or was there something else you were going to add? Done. Okay, perfect. This is great. So we are I think pretty much in time, and I'm going to hand it back to sorry, Ekta, you're going to hand it back to Khushi.
Yes, I will now hand it back to Khushi.
Thank you, and that was amazing. So thank you, Sapan team and all the contributors for sharing what all has happened in this great and consistent work of Sapan. So it's solidarity and inspiration that we have really been together with. And as you know, we have all done this with, all this amazing work. It is, when I was listening to it, I was thinking, oh my God, 2 years and so much has been done. And Beena, you were wonderful when you were hosting it. It was amazing. So we have all done all this amazing work on an entirely voluntary basis with no full-time staff or any part-time staff, anything. And so, or even resources. It's all just been ourselves doing everything. So imagine what we could actually do and accomplish if we had some funding. Now, if you would like to, if you like what we do, if you like what we have been doing so far and we'll continue to do, and you want to support us, please go to the donate link and on the site, on the Sapan News site, and contribute what you can. Ekta has very clearly explained what it is. So
it is, and just read it out, Khushi, just at Sapan. What is it? Sapanfundjournalism.org?
Sapan.fundjournalism.org/donate.
Right, thanks. Will you repeat it again, just so in case?
Yeah, it's sapan.fundjournalism.org/donate. Right.
Thanks. So every little bit counts, and please contribute and ask your networks and people to pitch in. This will really help us. And I think, as I said at the beginning, that not just Sapan, but for me, Sapan means the greater a quarter of the world's population, South Asia, and all of us over here. So now we have a very, very special announcement. This is a special announcement honoring the journalist Lise Doucette from BBC in recognition of her work reporting and educating from conflict zones in South Asia. And from South Asia and elsewhere. Now, this is the first time that Sapan platform is giving an award, and it's the first time award from the Sapan platform, personally initiated by Dr. Tayyaba
Hassan.
Tayyaba Hassan. She's lives in the Boston area, and she's a consummate scientist, a globalist, a humanist, a humanitarian, and a mentor with a passion for social justice. She's a professor and award-winning scientist at Harvard and MIT universities, doing groundbreaking work in the study of light in improving improving health, and has over 300 publications. I'm just getting so impressed reading all this. So, Dr. Hass, I would like to ask and call on Dr. Hassan to introduce Lise Doucette, please.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So thank you very much. I'm honored to participate in this. I am no journalist at all, so I don't move in these circles. I'm a scientist, as was said earlier. And but I do follow world news avidly, and that's unfortunate because none of it is good. And for full disclosure, Bina is a niece of mine, and she's been working on this for a long time. And it occurred to me that she has these programs that I join off and on. And I said to her, you know, you really need to perhaps bring in and honor some people who actually report and educate us from South Asia. So in order to plan any work, like a good laboratory experiment, you have to first have the literature and the data. And a lot of these people, of course, report at a great risk to themselves, but it has to be well researched with empathy from conflict zones. So there are many brave people. The name that came to my mind, because I've been watching this for a long time, is, you can tell that I have some gray hairs, is Lise Doucette. And she is a Canadian journalist who is the BBC's chief international correspondent after having been for 15 years, the BBC's foreign correspondent with postings in Jerusalem, Amman, Tehran, Islamabad, Kabul, and Abidjan. I'm not sure there's a conflict zone that's excluded from this list, but there are probably, she's been to those too. So she's been reporting from Afghanistan and Pakistan since 1988, which I think was about the beginning of the Taliban's onslaught there. So Lise has received the Order of the British Empire, and this I have to read, Empire in the Queen's Honours List in 2014 for her services to broadcasting, and was invested in the Order of Canada in 2019 for her empathetic coverage of world events. And I have to say, I added empathy in her citation without having seen this, so I'm very glad that Canadians recognized it. She has her graduate and undergraduate degrees from Canada, but here's what makes me very jealous and envious, actually. She has 17 honorary doctorates from leading British and Canadian universities. And here I am proud of my one single doctorate. And this is 17. I wonder if you'd share some with some of us, Lise. And her journalism has been recognized by major media and charity. And the one charity I do want to mention is that she's a trustee of the Friends of Ashiana UK, which supports working street children in Afghanistan. And she has chosen to donate her honorarium for this recognition to that group. So please join me in honoring Lise Doucette as the first recipient of the Sapan honor. Can I share the screen now? Here, am I allowed to? Oh, you cannot while the other. So can you, Bina, somebody's sharing it. So can I?
Yeah, you can share. Sorry, we were putting up the certificate.
Now I do. Now I have it. Yeah. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. I did want to flash this nice picture here. Okay. And in fact, should have been flashed earlier. So please join me. We should have some clapping mechanism here.
Yeah, there is, people can use the clap facility on the reactions.
Yes,
Or we
that's
can do
good.
this, or we can like everybody
Yeah,
can.
that's a good idea. But we should. You can probably download something.
We've done the clap, we've done the love, lots of.
Yeah.
We've done
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we can. And so, this is the organization that Lee supports. That's the Ashiana.org for the children. And here is the, can you see this one now? The certificate that Sapan is giving, the certificate of recognition. And is that visible now?
No, that is not, but that was shared a little while, Ekta shared that a little while earlier.
Okay.
But we can share it again.
Okay, so I don't know why it's not being shared, but this is fine, yeah. Which is too bad. Yeah. Okay.
Let's share the certificate once more, please.
Yeah, maybe Ekta can share it because that's all I have to share. So that's
Thank you.
so, okay, sure. So I'm going to close this sharing and then you can.
And are you going to read out the citation? Ekta, are you sharing the certificate?
Yeah, so the citation here is for courage, empathy, and acumen in reporting and educating on events in conflict zone in South Asia and the world over. So this is something that I made up totally spontaneously because that's what I think. And since I was initiating this award, I thought I'd take the liberty of doing that. And presented on the 2nd anniversary of the South Asia Peace Action Network, Sapan, on March 26, 2023. To Ms. Doucette, OBE, OC, Ms. Doucette chooses to donate the honorarium to the Afghan Children's Fund, Ashiana organization. So that's it. And so again, congratulations, Liz.
And we'd like to hear from Liz now.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Hassan, a true example of a thinker and a doer, a scholar, a scientist, a doctor. I think all of us, and I think Sapan would like to see its mandate is trying to heal societies and people, but you actually do it in your work. And I always have to think twice when people mention that I have an award from the late Queen of the Order of the British Empire, and I had to think twice about it being Canadian, but at least it underlines that I think pretty well everyone on this call has been colonized by the British. I being Canadian, most of you coming from South Asia. Okay, Zada escaped it as a colony, but of course there's all those 3 Anglo-Afghan wars, and of course in the case of Canada, we were also colonized by the French. But now we are in a new world, and perhaps it's fitting that I'm joining you from Brazil today, which with a new leftist president, Lula is back in power, talking about Brazil playing a greater role on the world stage, part of what I think we now call the global South. And I think that is something that all of you here joining this call would want to support, looking at the world from different perspectives and not just from the old capitals in the North. So it's a great honor for me to receive this first award inaugurated by Dr. Hassan and the Sapan Network. And it's a delight to join old friends, including Bina, and fellow travelers, and to be reminded of some of the giants when it comes to peacemaking, including who were personal friends, Asma Jahangir and Aya Rahman, stemming back to the time, the 5-6 years where I was living in Pakistan between 88 and 93 as the BBC's Pakistan and Afghanistan correspondent. So I'm glad to be part of this new history of Sapan, the Sapan community, as it launches its new website and its work. Bina so eloquently and impressively sketched what has already been achieved in 2 years. Now, I listened to Bina speaking so powerfully last week, and some of you may also have heard her at the Razi Abati Memorial Lecture, a tribute to an outstanding journalist from the region. And she described herself as being a journalist and an activist, and seeing no contradiction between the two of them. Of course, I work for the BBC, a public broadcaster, It's played a role for decades in many of the countries which are part of the Sapan network. And we see, of course, our role just as journalists, not activists. But I do agree with Bina that our jobs are the same. And as she put it, it's about asking the right questions, including what can be uncomfortable questions. And it's also about providing the right context. And yes, it is, as Sapan has been emphasizing and highlighting for the past 2 years, an emphasis on peace, on dialogue, on human rights, and whether this is the South Asia region, and including Afghanistan, whether it's the Middle East, whether it's Ukraine, where I spent a lot of my time in the past year and a half. There's such a profound yearning for peace, and not just for peace, but for justice. And there also is a growing need for truthful, fact-based journalism. I know that is a very loaded kind of concept, because many of you will be thinking, well, what are the facts, and what do we talk about truth, and who can we trust? And I think I have to say, with hand on heart, that the first time I began to question the truth was when I was actually living and reporting on the ground in Pakistan in the late 80s and early 90s, where Benazir Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif, in and out of power, could sometimes not even agree on when something happened and why it happened and who was there. And these are questions which continue to this day. But I think we live in a very paradoxical world, that never have we had so much information because of the dazzling changes in technology, all of these new platforms, including the kind of new platforms we've been hearing about today with the Sapan News website. So much information, and yet so much misinformation, manipulation, and misunderstanding. And I think we have to celebrate the fact that now there is the launch of this new service. And Bina and I have been speaking about how she has tried to make the transition from being first an organization of a coalition, really, of peace organizations and activists, and coming together to form this syndicated news service, which had a soft launch in August of 2021. She's been helped by the Poynter Institute, and one of my colleagues, one of our BBC's most senior editors, has been part of that process. And so we celebrate and support you as you move towards providing some of this information on these really crucial topics that the world needs to hear. We already heard from Zara Nader, who has set up her own network in the past year called Zan Times, focusing there on women's rights, on human rights. Again, another channel for us to try to get the information we need from trusted sources. So I'm very pleased to be part of this Sapan community. I'm very honored and touched, delighted to be the first to receive this award. And I look forward to the years to come where other journalists, including many from the region, will step up and will be honored in the same way. I will just end by saying that when I began living in Pakistan in 1988, many of you will remember, I see Raza Rumi is on this call too, that was a time where there was, when it came to 24-hour international television services, there was the BBC, there was the CNN, which had just been launched, and then the BBC was just starting its global television network. And then fast forward within several years, I used to be visiting Pakistan when there was a huge revolution in the media industry in Pakistan. So many new channels set up, not just Pakistan, but look at India, look at Bangladesh, look right across the region, a real explosion of lots of news. And the BBC now is just one part of what is a huge spectrum of different television and radio and media, online-based news services. So I'm glad, I'm hugely proud and pleased to be part of this network, which is not just a network of fellow professionals, but also of dear friends from a very long time. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much, Lise, for your moving words and for your thoughtful comments. We're really happy to, where did you go? Somebody unspotlighted Lise. There she is. Okay, I couldn't see you anymore. Thank you so much for joining and for your thoughtful words and for your support and your encouragement. And I just have a question or a comment about, you said that the idea about truth. I was part of something called the video journalism movement from the Netherlands for a while. I made a little film for them on Kashmir called Milne Do, let the Kashmiris meet. And the slogan of the VJM, of the video journalism movement, was, there is more than one truth. I love that, because there are only facts are facts, but there can be more than one truth. I can have one truth, somebody else can have another. One man's hero is another man's terrorist, and so on and so forth. And I really want to thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule flying around Brazil, and for updating us on the latest. We got a live update from Lise Doucette right here on Sapan about happenings in Brazil. And thank you so much, Tabu Khala, Dr. Tayyaba Hassan, for initiating this award. I'm really glad to have you here in the spotlight, as it were. And I was thinking about, you research light, but we need to have more light on you right now, because we can't see you very well.
Okay, I do this almost deliberately because I'm on Zoom all day. So
yeah, you want to get out.
It's become a habit.
So thank you so much. I'm going to now hand it back to, thank you so much, Lisa. I know you have to go. Really appreciate you taking out the time. We were going to be grateful for a video message, and we are beyond honored and grateful for you taking out this time to appear live on the Sapan network. Thank you. And back to Khushi. And we're nearly at the end of our program. Just a couple more items to go.
Khushi, please unmute.
So thank you, Bina, Dr. Hassan, and Lise Doucette. And we now go to the Sapan Music Composition Competition. We will now get our those who are the three judges, the identities of the three judges, who we had not spoken about before. And we'll reveal the identities, and they will be announcing who the winners are. So the three judges are, first is South Asian music connoisseur and writer Siraj Khan, who lives in Boston. Sohana Ahmed, who's done her PhD in music from Delhi University. She's a well-known activist and a music director of the more, not the populist films. And she is a teacher for special needs children. And T.M. Krishna, I think, whom everybody probably knows, an eminent Carnatic vocalist. He's a lecturer, he's an activist, he's an author, and a Magsaysay awardee. So TM sends his regrets that he's traveling and cannot be present, but I would like to ask the two others, Mr. Siraj Khan and Sohana Ahmed, to please announce the music competition winner and the runners-up. And I will just state that, a Sapan volunteer and filmmaker and activist Rohit Valecha from Mumbai will also had helped a lot and putting forward the results, which are prepared by Sarita Bartaula from Nepal. So over to you two.
Sohana, why don't you please go ahead first? I'll be on.
I request you, Mr. Siraj Khan, please, you go ahead. And I want to say a few words. Thank you, Sapan. Actually, I came to know about Sapan from Khushiapa. And thank you, Khushiapa, for introducing me to Sapan. That's such a great network. In just few years to only in 2 years.
Sohana ji, your voice is breaking up, and I remember you.
And thank you all and the world.
Actually, Sohana,
yeah.
I think your connection is a bit problem. Can you move somewhere where you have better connectivity? We couldn't really hear you.
Yeah. Okay, I can request, I request Mr. Siraj Khan, you go ahead with the result.
Greetings, everybody. I'm truly honored to be invited to be one of the judges for this. This was we had the system was very, I want to briefly tell you that none of the three judges were interacting with each other. So we came up with our own points, our own thing, and it wasn't easy, at least for me, and the conditions which were made. But we went through it, and it was. I am delighted to report that all three of us we converged throughout for the number one. And so the number one winner turned out to be.
Siraj, tell the number one winner last. Tell the others first.
Okay,
No?
all right.
Wouldn't that be
Okay,
more
Beena, sure, we'll build it up.
Build it up, build
okay,
it up.
that's actually a very good idea. So from, so let's start from number three. We didn't expect that we would end up having two people, for number three slot. So it's Zishan Zaini and Abbas Premji. But a very good combination of Western instrumentation and the Indian, and to develop the theme music. People say that when words fail, music speaks. And this is what we are trying to do here. So this is number three. Number two was Ratna Deep. Another very, very promising. You will see, you will hear that. Sohana, are you now? Are you okay? Because why don't you do the honors for the number one, announcing number one? Okay, if you can.
Yes, Sahana, unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have a there for runner-up, Ratna Deep. I just mentioned the name.
Yeah.
Right. We managed to raise over $1,000. So from that we've got the prizes for the winners. So Anna, can you speak now?
Sohana, can you speak? Sohana?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So please go ahead and announce the winner.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. We can.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The name of the winner is Nirvan Atreya. If I have pronounced it right.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Congratulations to all the winners.
Great. Thank you so much, judges. And I think we had a slight mix up here with I think we wanted to play the winning compositions. And
Yes,
Rohit, will you actually just, since Ekta already went through that slides, maybe you can just talk about so Rohit actually will talk about the process behind it and share the music, hopefully. Rohit.
Yes. So hello, everyone. We at Sapan have been working on creating short documentaries, podcasts, and other media from the subcontinent. And we felt a strong need to have a signature music piece in all our media and communication. Our team came up with the idea of a music competition and invited musicians from the subcontinent to contribute. So thanks to Sarita for preparing the rubric for our judges, and Saifi for helping with fundraising. The entries, as you have already heard, have been carefully judged on the basis of originality, concept, and instrumentation. Thank you again to all the musicians who joined us in this journey, and of course our esteemed judges. So I will play the winning entry.
Amazing. That was wonderful. Thank you, Rohit. And thank you, Nirvan. I hope you're here. I don't know if any of the music competition participants are here. We did invite them all. If you are here, please unmute yourselves or speak up. But that's fine.
I don't think anybody's here.
Okay, we will get back in touch. And there is the small cash prize for them, for the winner and for the runners up. We'll have to figure out how to get it across to them. Rohit, did you want to add anything else?
That's it for the music competition, and we hope we can explore this music further in our upcoming videos and the media that we produce, so you'll get to hear a lot of it.
Oh,
Yeah. Can you play the second one as well, Rohit?
Yes.
Because I think that was really good as well.
That was good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, the judges, for taking the time out from your busy schedule and for doing this for us. And the musicians who took the trouble to participate and give us this wonderful prize-winning compositions. I would now like to introduce journalist Mandira Nair to present a resolution on the South Asians for a Future SARC Summit. And that's how you want to like it. So over to you, Mandira, it's your.
Thank you, Khushi. I'm just wondering if I can share the screen, and I think it's up there so that I can have it. Yeah. Can everybody see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it fits into what we've really been saying, and we're hoping that governments will listen to us. The South Asian Peace Action Network resolution for endorsement, urging governments in South Asia to work towards convening an official SAARC summit at the earliest. We at South Asia Peace Network, at the Peace Action Network, Sapan, urge governments in South Asia to work together towards convening an official SAARC summit at the earliest. We believe that South Asian governments must develop good neighborly relations and collaborate for social and economic prosperity. Relations are essential to achieving individual, national, and global objectives. The onus of responsibility lies on governments to work for such relations and to ensure that the people of their country acquire all opportunities available to people in other successful regions of the world to visit, trade with, and learn. Governments must take joint initiatives with their counterparts in neighboring countries to pursue and promote shared cultural, social, economic, environmental objectives and solve political conflicts. Sorry. One second, just nations provide. Sorry, I'll do it on my nations improve.
Mandira, maybe turn your video off because your voice is breaking up.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. Resume share, stop video. Okay. Nations improve their economic and social welfare sectors when they interact as part of a regional bloc, as illustrated by regional blocs that have emerged in Asia, Africa, and elsewhere. A regional organization provides a stabilizing cushion from destabilizing functions in the global economy. This aspect is the aspect behind the foundation of SAARC, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation in 1985. Besides improving economic and social indicators, SAARC enhances the national prestige of individual South Asian countries, helping them manage bilateral relations and developing a collective regional identity. To achieve this, SAARC forum needs to encourage in regular dialogue, and unfortunately, such exchanges have not taken place for nearly a decade. The last SAARC summit, 18th, was held at Kathmandu in between November 26th and 27th in 2014, attended by the Prime Ministers of Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, and Sri Lanka. The motto was deeper integration for peace and prosperity. Sadly, this promise failed to materialize, and this last has inevitably led to the entire region suffering massively on economic and social front. The South Asian region combined has the highest number of people in the world living below this poverty line, outstripping sub-Saharan Africa. A revived SAARC can help mitigate this crisis. Understanding this, we, the undersigned individuals and representatives of listed organizations, affirm that dialogue and regional cooperation are essential for peace and stability in this region. We therefore urge the governments of South Asia region to commit to holding a future SAARC summit soon, provide a clear-cut plan on how SAARC can be revived, work towards deeper integration in South Asia and allowing people-to-people contact and restoring road, rail, and air connectivity. Act on the need to uphold the genuine economic and social conditions of all people of this region, keeping aside narrow and national agendas. The resolution is open for endorsement. Please, we would urge you to all add your name and fill out this form. Thank you. Over to you, Khushi.
Thank you, Mandira. I hope everybody can read it and they would all endorse it. I'm really asking everyone along with Bandira and everybody of us here, to endorse this. I would now like to invite Shailaja Rao to present the Ease of Visa campaign. This is for soft borders in this region, or in the region, or to have visas on arrival. Shailaja is board president of the South Asian Film Festival in Seattle, Washington. So Shailaja, over to you on the soft border in the region.
Thank you, Khushi. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Today on Sapan's second anniversary, I'd like to request you to sign Sapan's online petition, Milne Do. Milne Do is based on the petition initially launched by Aman Ki Asha in 2012 and updated by Sapan in August 2022. August 2022 marked 75 years since India gained independence from the British colonists and simultaneously partitioned as the new country of Pakistan came into existence. In 1971, there was further independence and partition as East Pakistan became Bangladesh. These events are marked with much blood and pain. We at Sapan firmly believe it is time to heal the pain. Let people meet. Milne Do. It is essential to allow people-to-people contact to fulfill the objectives of SAARC, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, which aims to promote the welfare of the peoples of South Asia in all possible ways, and to enable people of the region to live in dignity and to realize their full potential. People-to-people contact is a prerequisite for building mutual trust and genuine collaboration. This will enable us to break from the past and repudiate the legacy of hatred and animosity. Our people and countries can reach their full potential and truly progress when ideas and art, business and tourism, and collaborative efforts in health, sustainability, and poverty alleviation are allowed to flourish and flow. Again, for this to happen, the region's citizens need to have freedom of movement and be able to meet each other freely. Just yesterday, actually, I'd like to point out in the Hindu, Suhasini Haider and Samriddhi Tiwari put out a report on how about 60,000 Afghans are affected by India's visa ban. This affects spouses of Indian nationals, Afghan students, traders, and businessmen who want to resume travel and to India and so on. So we call on the governments and peoples of South Asian nations to work toward instituting soft borders and a visa-free South Asia, or a visa on arrival and freedom of trade and travel to each other's citizens. I'd like to mention that Milne Do is a petition by South Asia Peace Action Network in collaboration with many other organizations. A few of them are Awaaz-e-Dosti, Aman Ki Asha, Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, Nijera Kori, Pakistan India's People Forum for Peace and Democracy, Association of Peoples of Asia, People's Union of Civil Liberties, Boston South Asia Coalition, Nirmala Deshpande Sansthan, Peace Initiative Bhutan, American Sikh Forum Incorporated, and you'll see a complete list on our website. We currently have 36,654 signatures, and we'd love to take it to 50,000. So please take the time to sign the petition. The link is in the chat box, and please share the link in your circles as well. I'll end here with a short video compiled by Gopika Ajay. Gopika is a multimedia journalist and a documentary filmmaker based in Chennai. So here goes. Thank you.
Who's sharing it, Shailaja?
It's not in the room.
Ekta?
Actually, maybe we can not, maybe because we're way over time, maybe we can skip that because it's
Okay.
another 2-3 minutes. And it's lots of the same people. Maybe we can play it right at the end. But once we
Okay.
pass the last part, when Khushi.
Yeah,
In the
Okay, so
meantime,
back to
we can
you
figure out
then.
who's going to
Back,
play it. In the meantime, figure out who's going to play it and move on to
okay, back to you, Khushi.
Thanks, Shailaja and Gopika for having, which we haven't seen, but as Bina said, we can have it at some point when at the end, and we'll have it on our website so people can watch it whenever they wish to at any time. But I really think it's extremely important to do the Midnight signature campaign. So I have no hesitation in requesting all of you or stating once more that if you like what we do and want to support us and would like us to continue to do what we are doing and would consider donating either once or on a monthly basis, we will appreciate any amount whatsoever. And I don't know if Ekta can just put the link, this https sapan.funjournalism.org/donate/ which we stated before, but I don't think we have any problems in wanting to repeat it again if somebody has come in recently and want to know this. So thank you. And I'd like to also ask all of you that to please share your questions, comments, and feedback in chat and, in the comments section. So this will help us to improve us and take this course further. Just before we end, I'd like to give a huge thanks to Sara Arshad and her family, and to Salima Hashmi in Lahore, Sneha Jha in London, Priyanka Singh at Cambridge University, Saifullah Saifi, Saifullah Saifi in Holland, Lalita Ramdas and Abrar Ramdas in Alibag in the south, Khawar Mumtaz in Lahore, then Kavita Srivastava in Jaipur, Amu Joseph, Kanakmani Dikshit, Sanjoy Hazarika, and so many others for their support and really essential support to keep us going. So I just want to hand it over to Bina for last words or for if I have left anyone out. And thank you all for participating. I'll sign off. I'll say Dhanyabad. Thank you. See you in our next program. And over to you, Bina.
Thank you so much, Khushi. I actually don't have any last words because I think you've mentioned everyone, but it's great that Kanak has stayed up this late to be here still. And some others are still here who we haven't seen in a while. It's great to have you all. I don't know whoever can play the video, if we can maybe just end with that, because that has words from Salima Hashmi and Dr. Arvinder Chamak in Chandigarh and a few other people. But if not, then we'll just put it up on our YouTube channel and call it a day for now, or a night, for depending on where you are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. And if everybody can turn on their cameras, we can take a group picture.
Oh, great. Yeah. So
I think Sarita said she can't turn on her video. I don't know. Oh, wonderful to see Ramu there as well, Lolly. And congratulations on Nirvan's winning the competition. The judges judged blind, by the way. I have to tell you that the music competition judges judged blind. They blind are like they didn't know who they were. We gave them numbered entries. And I learned later, by the way, everyone, that Nirvan happens to be the grandson of Lolly and of Lalit Das and Admiral Ramdas, who are joining us from Alibag. And it's wonderful to see both of you. Yeah, that was a nice thing that happened. But we did email all the music contest participant contestants to join us, but they a lot of them were not able to, I think they didn't get the email or they weren't able to join.
Yeah,
So
I
like
message, I have absolutely no idea. So he will be thrilled. I have no doubt.
Yes. Please tell him, and we will. I think now we will just take a picture. So whoever's with us, please, if you will all turn on your cameras. And Khalid, I see you. Khalid Hussain, I see you hiding there. Saman Shafiq, Yaqub. I know I told you could come in with your camera off, but if you can put it on, that would be lovely. So Hanaji, if you can turn your camera back on. I see my mother there.
I am disabled by the host.
Namrata. Sorry?
I am disabled by the host. I cannot
Oh, you
start.
are?
Yeah.
Asked to start video. No, I don't know. That was...
Oh, no,
Asia's also joined. That's lovely. Oh, Nirvan. Nirvan just turns up. Wonderful. Nirvan, congratulations. Yeah, you're the winner of the competition. You missed the announcement.
I'm so sorry.
What did you for everyone?
I'm so sorry. I missed it. I'm like, I just ran from whatever meeting I was in and I was traveling.
Amazing.
But yeah, it's really awesome
So
news.
you are a unanimous top winner from all the judges. And I think the only judge who's here right now with us is Sohana Ahmed. So I'll just spotlight her as well. So that's one of the judges, and the other two judges are not able to be here right now. Because they're traveling. Why is I'm not able to add both spotlights? I was trying to add both spots. Ekta, are you doing that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the event is pretty much over. So, but yeah, we just wanted to, since you're here, congratulations.
We can't hear you, Beena.
Okay, Beena's video has gone off.
Beena, your sound's off.
Beena, you're breaking.
Well, for me, she's totally silent.
I think we can stop the live video streaming now, and then we can continue the conversation.
Great. And we can end now and say thank you to everybody and then have an informal conversation as we wish.
Yes, that's right.
We could take a picture. We could take a picture while Beena is stuck.
Okay.
Yeah, we've taken. I've taken pictures. So
Beena's
thank
now
you,
also
everybody.
not only stuck of photos not here. How can we have a picture without Beena?
I've taken pictures. Don't worry. And we'll go off live off the YouTube, and we can continue the conversation.
Okay. Lolly, I just wanted to let you know. So this is main discussions are. Lolly, I just wanted to know that